Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of the amazing unThreaded show. I'm with my people, Jay Hagan, Leigh. What's up, team?
What's up?
Yeah.
Good to be
What's
back. Good to
up?
be back.
How's everyone's week been? I'm kind of sick right now, so I'm trying to fight through it, flu game style. Leigh, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Nothing crazy. We did plan a last minute trip to Dallas this coming weekend, and we're gonna hopefully get to see Ty and hang out. Da.
Fun.
And so yeah, just looking forward to that. Just getting through the week now.
Jesse?
Man, I'm in a really good mood today. This week, the Vikings played the Packers, and we just beat them. It was a little hairy there in the second half, but took care of business. Enjoying this poppy. Hopefully the links come through tonight.
I didn't start Sam Darnold in my fantasy league, and I'm so mad. So thanks for bringing that up, my brother. I love
It's
that.
okay.
It was hard to think that he was going to go back-to-back with like 20-point games, but he's on a tear right now,
Yeah,
man.
he's killing it. Well, let's get into the show. We're going to try to deliver still, even though I'm not feeling the best. I'm going to try to still bring the energy. We have 3 threads. The first thread is going to be from Kobe, because last episode, man, you was on fire. I never seen that side of you. I didn't even know you had it in you, but hey, man, you was on fire last episode. So what's up, man? What you got?
I'm excited. Thank you for that. I think I just had a lot of takes, and I guess it translated all right. But hopefully I can follow that up on today's episode. My thread today comes from the estimable Sarah Montour Lewis, a cornerstone of the NBA Threads community for the uninitiated and a fellow Wolves fan. But in this capacity, she's speaking on a pretty wild event from this week, which I'm excited to dive into. And she writes, "The special thing about community is that it exists outside of the bounds of this little box," meaning Threads. "The magic is in the people and the platform is a tool, but it isn't the core. The connections remain and they exist in the one-on-one interactions, the meetups, the support outside of this, the next platform that serves it better, etc., etc. It's an ever-evolving enigma, and Threads is lucky to have a couple of communities that call it home for now, and hopefully for the long haul if they make it worth it."
Man, AI wrote that. Sarah didn't write that. It's like, nah. Sarah, I'm joking. Jesse, okay, explain what happened and give us some context.
Yeah, okay. So anyone who was on Threads, really, I guess like Wednesday and Thursday, might have seen that NBA Threads really started popping off. And it really, I think, comes back down to 2 things. And we kind of made mention of it on our last show, but Ty got put in Threads jail. He got zucked.
You figured me out. You got me red-handed.
And we know that NBA Threads has a rich history of a bunch of people getting zucked. We got, help me out here, guys. Uncle Ken, Unk has gotten zucked before. He was like one of the first hit. I think Freak Time was the first like patient zero. Monique
just got
Modern.
it, I think too.
Yeah, and Strange Birds got zucked for like no apparent reason.
Yeah.
But then I think the one that really rankled everybody was Olive Winter Rice. Olive Winter Rice, Miss Pum Pum Energy herself, who has come up on this show in fun capacities. I think that was way back when in episode 2. But she was defending herself from a racist troll. And I don't remember exactly what she threaded, but there were screenshots posted everywhere, and it really was not offensive, and she was defending herself. So she got the boot while the troll got to stick around, and it really just kind of raised this enduring question of like moderation nightmares. And it just snowballed into this whole kind of collective action of NBA Threads saying, well, like, all right, if that's how y'all are going to play it, we're going to bounce. So this was playing out like Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, and by Thursday morning, everybody had registered for Blue Sky. Like an alarming amount of the community had registered for Blue Sky and had started posting over there. And so, yeah, it was pretty dramatic. I don't know. Did y'all were like part of it? Jhamar, I saw you over there. Leigh, I don't know if you signed up or like went through with the sign
the
up.
Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I actually had an existing account. I think I looked up the tag and I was able to see the feed for the NBA threads. So I was I did take a look. Yes.
Nice.
But would you look at that? You see Ta and that anonymous woman had came at me, and then the universe, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's a coincidence. I don't know. When you come at Jhamar Youngblood, peaceful Jhamar Youngblood, who come in peace, who just chill. I don't judge nobody. I just try to give love to everybody. But look what happened,
You
Jesse.
might be creating an affiliation you don't want, Jhamar. You're already on record as being an apologist for accidental racist. That we can't forget.
Oh man.
Now we have to remember now that, like, if this is a correlation, are you responsible for the thread's moderation? Is that what you're saying?
Number one, I do not agree with what Jesse just said, my fellow constituents. And number two,
if I get booted, y'all know what happened.
exactly. And number two, I'm not saying that I'm a part of this. I'm just trying to say, look, hey, look at what happened when you come at peaceful people in this society. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't have no affiliations, man. I'm independent. But that's all I have to say on that matter. Okay. But yeah, man, we on Blue Sky, and I think I'm going to use Blue Sky to share more of my hot spicy takes, because I think my threads account kind of change and alter to like me promoting more stuff and me trying to like have more serious conversation. So I think I'm going to use Blue Sky for, like, you know, I'm trying to be the mayor of NBA Blue Sky, whatever they call that.
Oh, I've seen some names being traded around, and I guess the leading candidate is NBA Skyhook, which is a great name. I don't know who came up with it.
Okay. Well, look,
Sarah sharing that.
Look, man, if I could be the mayor of NBA Skyhook, or I know everybody here is like, we care about like inclusion. So if we need a woman mayor, I volunteer Leigh. So it's either me or Leigh for the mayor of NBA Blue Sky. Y'all let us know. But that's all I have for that one, man.
Okay. So I have a couple follow-up questions for both of y'all, because I do want some like interesting perspectives here. In general, do you think like the moderation on threads, we've kind of talked about this in the past, but I want to be specific to the moderation. One of the biggest issues it felt like people were having that I was really mad about is that they've turned all this over to AI. So I'd be curious about, like, from both of y'all's perspective, is that like the move and we just need to all get used to it? Or is it something that like you still need human oversight, because clearly in a lot of instances, the AI doesn't understand the context of why something is being said?
For sure, I do not think it's just something we need to get used to. I think you do need that human oversight. Even how it was introduced, you know, there was right when ChatGPT showed up, and everyone started talking about like, how do we monitor this? You know, a bunch of questions came up really quickly because it happened really quickly, and it was talking about using it responsibly and what that looks like, and that was always a part of it. Is AI really is like a suggestive tool? You know, it's not necessarily factual. It's just reading. It's, you know, learning from its learning model, and it's usually getting that from the internet, which is from humans, and it's trying to take human things and then to a computer, then back to a human. It's just never going to fully grasp that sentiment. So I think there's always going to be a need for some sort of human interaction just to actually get that across, and it starts learning things that are, you know, there's racism, like you see it all the time in these AI bots. So not good.
My idea, Jesse, is what I mentioned last week, is to union, man. And I don't know what that looked like officially, but I know that if we were to like show the power that we do have, if we were to like make that official, it has to be some sort of collective body where we can communicate directly with the people at Threads, because we have the ideas, we are the power users essentially, but there's no system in place for us to directly communicate with them. So we want to be protected from trolls, but we also don't want the algorithms to be so sensitive. So that's a communication thing that needs to happen, but we don't have access to that because they don't talk to us right now.
Right. The transparency that you hit upon both in what you just said and what you laid out in kind of your first drafting of the union contract, so to speak, I think was like a great kind of like notion that like we need more transparency. And that really is where I think people are getting super, super frustrated. What is interesting, and we can do these 2 quick follow-ups and then get out and move on to the other threads. But what you do bring up that I think is really interesting, Jhamar, is that like, NBA Threads just being what it is, and I don't want to overstate like our importance to like the Threads platform. There's obviously a lot of other like communities that make it what it is, but nonetheless, it is like a pretty powerful block of threaders because there is some sort of like, I don't know if you could go so far as to call it like political leverage or what, but like just by us all making a lot of noise and being like, that's it, we're going to Blue Sky. Here's some screenshots from Blue Sky. Threads did kind of like take action. And I think a lot of people, I won't speak for everybody, but did feel like, okay, at least it's a start. It did like, you don't want to be like, oh, you're just coddling us, but they did reinstate Olive Winter Wright's account, and they reinstated Dodgers' original account that had been suspended. So 2 like accounts that we were both upset about got reinstated. Strange Birds hasn't been reinstated yet, so that's still very obnoxious. But there was at least some traction taken on 2 accounts that had been coming up a lot. So I guess, or really the last question I want to hear from both of you on is like, I've heard some other perspectives too that like, while appreciative that NBA Threads is kind of like using its clout for good, is also like, but that can't be the end all be all. And maybe that's like you're saying, Jhamar, like maybe that's the importance of like some sort of union structure, because I get that, right? It can't just be the NBA Threads has shown favoritism. If other people have concerns or feel unduly censored, criticized, or whatever, they need recourse as well.
Yeah, that was my idea of just an inclusive group of users from different communities. I mean, I still think NBA Threads is the strongest community that I've seen. I know there's other communities on there, but I think that like given the nature of sports, the NBA, and how culturally relevant it is, I think it's just easier for us to just always have some type of content, always like produce engaging content. And that's why we're the power user. So again, I think if it starts with us and we just leave it open to everyone else to join us, I think that's the goal.
What do you think, Leigh? Do you think it has to be something across the board, or is it something that can be handled in kind of sub communities or what have you?
I definitely agree. Like with what Jamar's proposing, and it's like you said, we don't want to be in a situation where it has to be this. NBA Threads has to like throw our hands up, like kind of like make these demands for someone to pay attention each time us or another community may be affected. And then, but in the same, we kind of have a bigger part of the responsibility to create that open space for everyone to join, since we are that main group. So, we're trying to, we want it to be everyone to be treated the same, and we want the transparency. We want to know why certain accounts are getting suspended and why, and how the appeal process, what that looks like. Like it's not the actual bots getting booted, but like, we need to know why, and then how it gets resolved. It's some communication.
Yeah, so that's all we're just waiting for you to listen to, Adam Mosseri. We're just putting it out there.
Bro, he doesn't care, man. He be on there
really
trolling.
care,
he be trolling them with those videos like, so guys, so today we have going to release a really big update, guys. And this is the biggest update that we've ever released. Like, he's always just trolling, bro.
I know. I said he's the only one I can imagine that watches Shrek and actively roots for Lord Farquaad. I think that's
Oh, yeah.
he's giving off, man. Like what?
I didn't get that reference, Jesse, so I just was like, oh, that's interesting.
You don't know Shrek? You don't know Shrek?
Yeah, I don't
What
watch
Farquaad
those.
is like the diminutive guy that's like,
Yo,
blah, 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 blah.
I don't
Oh,
watch
no,
those cartoon-ass movies, man. I stopped watching them at The Lion King because when Mufasa died, it used to always make me cry as a kid. Man,
Yeah, they're pretty messed up.
I don't
remember
think Mosri cried. I think he was like in his, standing out of
Okay.
his seat, like Scar got him.
I get that one. I get that. He kind of looks like Scar. He looks like Scar a little bit, but it's all good.
He's like, oh, I don't want to devolve into taking too many shots at Mosri, but Mosri, if you ever listen to this, like,
Come on the
It's a
show,
Paul.
bro.
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
Paul.
honestly,
on the
you
show.
should. I
Come on the
implore
show.
him. Mosri, come on the show and let us make Shrek jokes to your face, and or Lion King.
Nah, Jesse, do a more professional like ask
Well,
real quick.
If
So
I
we can
do like
clip
a
it.
Reagan, like a round of Mr. Mosri, tear down your AI bots.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Oh my god! Wait, where's it? Like, put it in here right now. We're bone to clip it. How far are we in? 9. Okay.
All right. Let's go to the second thread. It's on me. This is from the lovely, the amazing Suns Fanatics. Her bio says, this woman is a Phoenix Suns junkie, founder of Suns Fanatics and Game Chasers. Our lovely friend and community member, Kai. Her thread was from yesterday, and it's a screenshot of a dating app. Her caption reads, in what FUCQIN world would any woman match with someone that sends this as a pickup line? And it's from a gentleman named Matthew. He's 39 years old. And he said, excuse me, but your tits need to behave.
Oh my god!
Wait.
Well, he actually said, see, excuse me, but I think that your tits needs to behave. I'm
You're
joking.
wrong.
I tried to do it
You're
wrong.
doing that.
I'm not good. I'm not good
that
today, man. I'm sick. But
No, this is still pretty.
Don't
good.
forget the
Okay.
sweat emoji and then the heart eyes.
oh yeah,
You have to
you're right.
specify, 'cause that's an intensifier.
That's
that makes
true.
it grosser.
He had that. Yeah, he did. He had the little hot emoji and then the heart eyes.
Need
Um,
to behave.
I mean, let's chat. Let's honestly, I have a different
I'm
take because
PTSD.
listen. I think I know what y'all take is going to be, but maybe I'm about to come in hot. I'm about to come in hot, Jesse.
But let's put that on the back burner, okay? Before you boil
All
over there, bud.
all right.
But I think Leigh, I don't want this to be a tokenizing throw to you as the
No.
woman, but as the only one, or I would guess the one most likely to have dealt with pickup lines like this in the past. I think your reaction is most pertinent.
I mean, I read it for the first time. And if you rewind like a minute, you can literally see my pulled back because after I read it, I mean, you know what? It's probably a very similar reaction that you had because it's just ridiculous. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this. This person thinks they're being funny. They're not. I don't know. Maybe it works for them sometimes and they just send that to every single person that they meet, like, rapid fire. But yeah, it's unnecessary.
Is there, Leigh, is there any conceivable pickup line commenting on your looks that would work? Or is it like to be engaged intellectually is the preference?
I think, I guess I can't speak for everyone. I think for me, where it would soften the line would be if it was like a direct quote from a movie that was like a known thing that involves like how someone's appearance is, where it's like you're invoking a funny moment from a movie or something. But because I think it's one of those things like you get this put in these awkward situations sometimes when like a man makes a joke and you're like, is this? It's like that's not funny at all, but I'm supposed to laugh. Like it's awkward. Luckily, when you're on the other side of app, you can just delete them. But yeah, you still feel that like awkwardness even when it comes at you. It's just gross.
You and JJ were met on the apps, did you
We
not?
did.
What was JJ's or your pickup line? I don't want to assume anything here.
Shit. I don't know the exact first line, but it was something like, you might be smarter than me. You might be the only.
You said your profile said that you're probably smarter than the guy reading.
Oh yeah.
What was
My
what was the lead?
So my profile said, I'm probably smarter than you. And so he responded, and he, to the point of saying, like, you're not. And then, yeah, that's
That's wait, that's
Doesn't sound that much better.
that's actually worse. Yeah, that's just as worse as what my
Here's-
What was
said.
engaging? What was engaging about that?
Here's why it's funny, because I look at his profile, right? And he went to Tulane. It says Tulane, which is where I went to school in New Orleans. And, it's a good school, and it's a law school. And so I'm like, okay, I know I went to school there. I know the level of intelligence that it requires to go to school there. So I'm like, you might be smart. Like, you might have a case. So I gave him a chance, but
Okay.
no,
I-
it got like, super awkward after that. Like me just telling him he was a walking red flag. So
Oh wow! What can we like? Maybe that's a future segment. We can revisit
sorry.
courtship between you, Leigh, and JJ. But we don't have to go all the way in there. But I do remember one other thing that JJ brought up in the Discord once. So did you feel like that was like tongue in cheek when he said that because of the Tulane thing? Do you feel like he knew?
Well,
that you
and
would
it was
that.
something I had in my profile. So
Okay, so
someone's a
there was-
direct response to something I had presented. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, I feel like that's free to talk about if I'm, if it's just like a comment I'm making about myself.
Meta commentary. Okay. And then I remember him sharing that you mentioned pre-date or something like, what kind of drugs do you want me to bring over?
No, I came over with drugs and I asked him, what drugs do you want?
Oh my God, Bone, cut this, man. Cut this.
No, we're on the record. It's okay. It's okay,
What
right?
the freak
I
is
mean,
happening?
JJ's here. He's aware of the recording. I don't know if Missouri is a two-party consent recording state.
No,
He's on record.
it's totally fine. But yes, that happened. And then, the rest, as I say, is history.
Beautiful. Jesse, share what you think on the thread.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't been on these apps in a minute. I always took the approach of trying to say something clever or engaging. I didn't have like a go-to. That I do see screenshots like that, and I'm just like you said, Leigh, like maybe it works, and maybe these dudes are just like trying to cut out the fluff or like cut to the point. I don't know. Like I've seen assertiveness like that, and maybe sometimes people respond to it well. I don't know. It always gives me the ick, and I would imagine it feels kind of icky to receive because it's one of those things where I think of like, I'm of the mindset that if you wouldn't say this to them in public, it's probably too much. And I just cannot fathom going up to a woman in public and being like, your tits need to behave. Like that's like really brazen to me. If you don't know the person, especially. So that seems absurd to me to even ponder saying something like that. And so I think that's, to me, that would be my, like, if I like think about the apps or we're trying to write rules for the apps, I don't think you should say anything that you wouldn't say in public to that woman in a public space. That's my personal interpretation.
Fair. So y'all ready for some philosophical discussions?
Ready.
I think it's time. You've been boiling long enough.
Here we go.
Where's Jhamar?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So, all right, I gotta breathe before I do this.
Do we need to forewarn Kai here? Does she need like a content warning and what's?
No, I think everyone needs I think everyone needs a warning. Listen, I'm coming from a very philosophical standpoint, right?
Okay.
If Matthew went up to this woman, Kai, in public and said this, I'm like, you know what? That's ridiculous. You are absolutely ridiculous. You're doing too much. Like, I don't know, we need to have more respect for our women out here, right? But this was online, right? And Leigh, you said JJ approached you with some nerdy talk like, ooh, I'm smarter than you. What about the freak community, bro? I'm sure there's a freak community out there where if they see that message, they're going to be like, oh man, this is the type of guy I like. He gets straight to the point. He freaky, he all that. So I'm just trying to say, do you see a world because it's online? Because I don't take online serious. It's hard for me to see something online and have it affect me emotionally. It's very hard. Like, it got to either be like an army parent coming back to see their kid and surprising them at school. That gets me. If someone is like hurt, physically hurt, that gets me. But other than that, I think everything is just like kind of entertainment. So I see something like this, and I'm just like, that's very entertaining.
Okay, by that token though, to me, like, so what I don't ever respect is if one of those guys says something like that, and then they get screen capped, and then they get mad that they got screen
Oh,
capped.
no. Matthew,
That's
wheel
bullshit.
your ass, Matthew.
If you want to take that,
Yeah.
you want to like to be like,
It's risky.
Cutting to the point, then
It's
you
risky.
Have to accept the risk.
Yep.
You might get screen capped. You might get called out for it.
Yep.
That's why I say, like, don't say it if you wouldn't say it out loud in public, because you better be ready if you become the entertainment.
But what the upside? But Jesse, what is the upside of somebody that's not Kai saying, "Oh yeah, these tits have been naughty and waiting for you, daddy." Oh, and now he's in heaven with some nice misbehaved tits.
Well,
Matthew 39 is in heaven with his tits, and it's only because he was.
I got a recommendation for Matthew 39. Just get on Threads, because I get messages like that all the time from like 80% of my new followers. So you want to hear that kind of talk? I've got the platform for you, buddy. And it's not Blue Sky.
But on a serious note, Kai, we're not supporting. I'm not supporting. I know Jesse and Leigh said that they're not for it, but I think people on the internet, I don't take them seriously. And one day we got to talk about the experience that I'm having right now on Reddit. There's a lot of trolls in the Nork subreddit, and I'm just like, I'm going right at them like, yo, let's see who could out troll each other, because they are anonymous and I'm not. So I'm just approaching it with a whole different energy. It's sort of like I'm like getting attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm using it to like share my ideas, get attention, work on like how to debate people and all that. So people behave weirdly online, but
Hey, Jhamar, real quick, I got a question about what you're saying about people because the internet entertaining, which I totally get you. I follow you like in general, but I think the difference with this is that when you're on a dating website, your intention is to meet somebody that you want to actually potentially date and have relationships with.
Whoa.
So
Wait, how do you know?
Because I'm pretty sure this is like a dating thing. Is it
It's
not?
a dating app, but it's not about all dating apps are not about getting to know or like becoming in a relationship with the person. Sometimes messages like that work, like you both have admitted.
Well,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
In a real date, I just jump up on the counter and go, I'm going to pull my pants. And it works a surprising amount of times.
No, I'm just saying it might not be entertainment for like Kai on the app. So like she's looking for someone to be real and not expecting entertainment.
Wait, from the screen cap, can you tell what app it is? Because that's the other question I have. It's been so long since I ever had to go on a dating app. Aren't there different kind of connotations for each of them, right? Like, is one quote unquote more serious than?
I don't want to talk about
Tinder
which app. I don't want to talk about which app Kai is on, because then we're trying.
All right, fair enough.
Let's give sis some privacy.
Okay, fair enough. But I wanted to know, because there are different connotations. What I think you're speaking to, Jhamar, is like I remember like Tinder felt more gamified than, I think the only other one that I was on was eHarmony, right? Which that felt like more quote unquote serious.
Yeah,
Maybe
so it's
NYC.
Yeah, so it's a user experience thing of the app.
Totally.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, that was an interesting chat. Hopefully I don't get canceled after that, but I'm just trying to provide some philosophical perspectives. So we have one more thread. Leigh, it's on you.
Oh yeah, it's super deep and important. Um okay, so my thread, and this, believe it or not, did happen within the last week. It's just been a crazy week. But it was, I think I was scrolling pretty late at night and I see Dino Luck with this biggest revelation to me today is that people ... pay for wallpapers on their phone. And
That was this week is insane. You're right.
which I had no idea what this was about. And then I just was like, oh, I kept scrolling. And then I think later I saw the actual post. Sorry, I'm not super familiar with this person.
I didn't know him either.
Marcus Brownlee, or MKBHD. He's a YouTube, I think, like tech reviewer. He does reviews, and I did read a little bit about him. Like he has a pretty decent influence, I think, for liking or disliking products. But he apparently released an app for phone wallpapers. And when I actually saw this separate thread, I thought, I was reading this article, I for real thought he was trying to do an app for wallpaper for your home. Because I have not even heard the term really like wallpaper for your phone in so long, nor why you would need an app to like download things. I was like, oh, maybe it's like custom designs. So anyway, yes, I finally figured out what was happening, but it was this big ordeal. It was like a $50 like subscription fee, and then the quality, you had to pay extra if you want the higher quality print images. And anyway, so yeah. First of all, do you guys have? Do you know this guy? Do you follow this guy? Like, do you have any?
Wait, Jesse, can I start with this?
Please, because you recognized him, so you definitely should start.
So this is the new iPhone 16. I got it yesterday, right? And I'm about to turn this phone around. Let me look. This dude has me blocked. This Dino dude, he has me blocked. And maybe, Jesse, you brought something up a few weeks ago. You said there were people that was upset because I had many teams. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Maybe Dino is one of those people. And he just said, you know what? Let me block this guy because he's got too many teams. So, Dino, thanks for blocking me, my brother. And if I ever see you in these New York City streets, I'm going to give you a hug because I love you still. I love even the people who blocked me. But, Jesse, you have something to say before I talk about
No, I'm just fascinated. I hope he does. I hope we clip this, and I hope he sheds light on whatever motivated the blocking. Because he's a really great dude. He just crossed the 1,000-follower threshold, and he's a really funny dude. I think he's in the Midwest. He's always posting about like his epic beard. His daughter, he had a cool design for her, like wacky hair day or crazy hair day.
Damn, I just
He's a nice guy.
What I do, bro? I
hope we get clarity.
I hope we get clarity. Okay, but Marcus, if we want to talk about Marcus, he's been putting in work for a long time. Like, he's been making those tech reviews for like a very long time. I've seen him on YouTube like over 10 years ago. So again, he may have a community of techie, nerdy type people who may just be into that. And again, it's capitalism, right? It's like, I don't want to call him a grifter and say he's a scammer. I don't want to do that. I just want to say people like things. I don't know. People like things, and buying a wallpaper is crazy, but that's crazy. But I didn't do any research. I don't know if this wallpaper comes with misbehaved tits. I don't know what is happening. I don't know. So I want to give my black brother Marcus the benefit of the doubt, because I'm not about to bash you in front of two white people. You know what I mean? I'm going to stick with you on this one, brother, and say I'm going to wait until I receive more evidence. But P. Diddy, you are really gross. And hey, man, the universe will give you what you put out. That's all I have.
He has responded, Jhamar, and I can go into it after, but he has like already responded to feedback. So
yeah, but he said sorry though, right? He said sorry. Like, he was just like, I'm sorry and I'm going to make changes type of vibe.
Well, but here's where I get confused, because I'm sure there were shitty people out there who were like bashing him wholesale and making this representative of his whole career. I didn't, like you, Leigh, I didn't even know this creator. I don't watch review content. I don't really like watch video reviews for tech. I'm like a big reader. I'm like not a video guy. So I never got into this guy. If I'm on YouTube, I'm watching Skibbity Toilet with Harrison and getting updated on the mythology. I don't know this Marcus guy. But what I did notice in the discourse, because of course I see $50 wallpaper app and I think that's ridiculous, is that like it did kind of start to feel like it was getting conflated with like critiques of the app somehow become like discrediting this dude. And I saw a lot of critiques that didn't feel that way to me. Now, granted, I don't know from your perspective, Jhamar, like I don't want to speak on like anything that I'm not qualified to speak on, including a perspective as a black man who is self-made.
Nah, man. No, this has nothing to do with black. I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling.
Okay. But all I'm saying is it seemed like to me a lot of the critiques that I was seeing, especially on threads, were mostly related to the pricing and like the business idea, which I think can be like compartmentalized separate from this dude and like his efforts as a reviewer. I think like that, I don't think that was really in question. Again, there were probably some bad faith trolls out there who did make it about that. But I think most of what people were put off by was that frankly, the product, at least as it was described or screenshotted or whatever, seemed ridiculous. And $50 a year is absurd to pay for when you can download any image. It's like an NFT all over again. Like you can download all those images. The stock ones that your phone come with are probably like comparable in quality, if not just as good. So I can't fathom paying it.
But Jesse, I kind of have to correct you a little bit with the NFTs. Like the image isn't the value. The value is the smart contract. So
right.
So you're right. So visually, the value of the image doesn't mean anything because anyone can save it. But it's the technology behind that image.
I understand, or I'm at least just for the sake of this argument, I understand it. But at least, especially with something like a wallpaper, that is like, it's not even got a smart contract or anything behind it. It's literally the image on your phone, which is going to be covered by apps. So it just seems to me from like a business proposition standpoint, I don't get it. I think wallpapers like in real life is cool. I think there's like Francesca Ramsey. She did like an MTV show. She's on Threads all the time. She launched a wallpaper company with like a design studio. That looks really cool. I was like, that seems awesome. I like a peel and stick wallpaper in these cute designs. That makes sense to me.
That's what I thought it was.
I would get that, or like I could see myself being interested in a business venture like that. This, like, I guess because he's in tech, like maybe it had to be tech, but it just felt weird, felt unnecessary. And then what I read from a lot of people, and I can't speak on this personally because I've never watched this content, but a lot of things that like kept coming up that I saw in a lot of reviews was that pricing structure for the value provided kind of flew in the face of like a lot of what he talks about when he's reviewing tech products, which is like the underlying philosophy that like, if you're going to charge a lot for something, hardware or software, you need to provide the value. So I think that's where people were getting kind of like mystified, was like, if that's your principle as a reviewer, when you become like the purveyor, you better be adhering to those same principles, no?
Yeah. I think there was probably a lot of really high expectations too, because this person, he is well respected and people, he has lots of followers, and then it was just a kind of a letdown, and it was disappointment. Even like you said, it's kind of like going against what he speaks about, what he finds as positive ratings on products. So it felt like a lot of like kind of disappointment and a little bit of like laughing because it's just like paying for wallpaper. But I didn't see anything like actually being critical of him as like a reviewer or his personality. So
okay, last thing before we go into the would you rather, what about freedom? What about people's right to do what they want with their money? And I think most of the people who are probably saying that's messed up probably may not be his real audience. Maybe his real audience like, yo, I would, even if 3 people buy it, it's like $50 wallpaper. Why is it not good for you for getting people to buy $50 wallpaper?
I'm not personally offended if anybody wants to buy $50 wallpaper.
Same.
If you're asking for my opinion, I think it's completely
Ridiculous.
superfluous.
It's ridiculous.
You can look at all the shit on my shelves behind me and be like, well, bobbleheads are fucking stupid too. And I agree with you. I think I got all those for free, but that's beside the point. I get that everybody makes superfluous purchases. The judgment here is not anybody that would buy a $50 wallpaper app. The judgment is more like, again, or at least the thread is kind of about like, I didn't know this guy either. I understand the critique, right? I understand the consumer base. If these are his fans who have been like, you've basically shepherded us behind these principles as a reviewer. If your product is not delivering on those, they're not consistent, I get people calling him out for it. Or honestly, just reviewing. Like if you are a critic, I think you also have to be open to your words. It's kind of what I would say to Matthew 39 or whatever, when his message to Kai is like, if you go out there, you put yourself out there in the world as a critical voice, nonetheless, like you definitely kind of have to be open to the same critique. Doesn't mean you are allowed to be like harassed, but like if you're going out in the public forum, I think you have to be prepared for that.
All right, Jesse, before we move on, I just want to make it clear that I am not defending Matthew 39's actions at all. Listen, what I said earlier, I'm sick. I don't even know what I said. I don't even know what I said. You know, I'm just a philosopher that's just, you know, I'm really open-minded, and I just put new ideas on my co-hosts. But we have a would you rather that Leigh brought to us this week. Leigh, give it to us.
I'm ready. Okay. And you have to pick one. Just remember that. Okay. Would you rather be able to see into the future, but only be able to see what will happen in the next 24 hours, or be able to rewind time, but only be able to go back 1 hour at a time?
Future 24 hours.
You know what that reminds me of? Did anyone watch the show Early Edition? Like when we were young, it was like a network.
Yeah, where they got the paper.
Yeah,
what was gonna happen?
The guy's superpower was that he got a newspaper of like tomorrow's headlines.
Yeah.
And he had no like other superpowers. Like he still had to take a bus and be like, I gotta go warn those people on the bridge that's gonna collapse.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I don't want to do that. Hell no.
But that's kind of the time window there. That whole premise of that show was that like this guy was privy to tomorrow's news and he had to decide if there was a tragedy he could prevent within that time frame with everything that's available to you now. Can't fly.
Wait.
You can't like Superman fly or like disappear or teleport. You just are your normal self. You just have the knowledge of 24 hours in advance.
So am I the only one with this power? Because if so, yes, then I'll be like a world leader, and then I'll be somewhere protected, and then I'll just be.
You going back to Korea? North Korea?
Yeah, probably. Hey, I'll just go over there, protect me. I'll get massages. I'll get like grapes fed
Always
to
the
me every
massages.
day. Like just somewhere where they treat me like royalty, and it's just like, Your Highness, what shall we worry about today, Your Highness? And then I'll let them
with
know.
their hands there. making them behave.
What do you think happens in this world?
Yeah, so I say 24 hours because I'll be like a world leader that's protected, eating grapes, getting massages every day, warning the world of either great things to come or weird things to come. So
I like that. And I will say, I agree. I think that there's a lot more benefit to knowing what's going to happen in 24 hours. I mean, think of like, whether it's power or wealth or whatever, you can get rich immediately just on sports scores alone, right? Like you've got the Marty McFly future, scores 24 hours in advance. So you can just go bet on all the predictions and like clean house.
you trying to use your powers to scam?
You see the advertising budgets that DraftKings and them have, like
You're
they're
getting
probably
predicted from a
advertising
world
on this
leader.
show next week just because we're online. Like these guys advertise everywhere. If I could clear them out in one day with this power, just the very next day, they're like, oh my God, how did this guy beat the house so bad that he took all our money? Like, oh, well, I just got really lucky on a 742-way parlay. I don't know what.
Hey,
Great,
Leigh,
man.
Leigh, we have no proof that me as world leader is a bad idea. Absolutely no proof of that. So
It's a what?
we have absolutely no proof that me being a world leader is a bad idea.
I didn't say it was. I said under protection of of a world leader.
Who, me? I'm under the protection of. I would be the world leader.
You would be, yeah. I mean,
Be the world leader.
Yeah. I would be the world leader, and I would be like probably in like a glass with like some air ventilation coming to it, and people would come up to the glass.
you like the Pope?
It's giving a Pope. Yeah, Your Highness, I said it.
I want you to be the dripped out Pope. You remember that was the only AI photo I ever liked.
Oh yeah,
was
that was a cool.
you know, the Pope in
Yeah.
the cool ass
That was
puffer.
a cool one. Yep.
That was really cool.
Leigh, what do you have, Leigh?
I'm going with you guys today. Seeing 24 hours ahead of time.
Because what are you gonna do in an hour if it's like a test that you failed? Like you're not gonna be able to study more than like an hour.
The only thing you could do is rewind a
Prevent.
conversation that you had.
Yeah, or like prevent
Yeah.
like an injury or something,
Yeah.
like a car accident or
Yeah,
something.
like if something bad, if you cheat on your wife, bro, and then you like, oh my God, she never gonna find out. She never gonna find this out, and then she find out, you could be like, oh, now I'm about to go back an hour and not do this.
Yo, the rewinders are silly though, because really, if you're proactive enough, 24 hours is the same advantage, right? You could know all these things that were gonna happen. Like you would know that you were gonna get in a car accident. You would know that you were gonna like cheat on your spouse or do something because you'd have the 24-hour like, prediction.
Oh,
So you could already prevent and like ward off bad things from happening. So you get 24 of those.
yeah.
The rewinder only gets one. There's no advantage as long as you are proactive enough.
That's good thinking right there, Jesse. That's good thinking.
But I also think maybe it overstates it. I think a lot of people think that they'd make the most, myself included, thinks they'd be like, oh, I'd make so much of this if I had 24 hours advance notice. I have like heads up on like approaching deadlines and stuff all the time that it doesn't change.
was like,
procrastinating.
If we had it, would we use it? Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe the rewind like is the actual like the most
The
realistic.
low-key winner.
Low key, if you were like, well, if I'm honest with myself, I'm not gonna go make like a 752-way parlay every day.
All
Just let me rewind and get this touchdown right, and I'll get enough money.
All right, friends. So we know the assignment for the week is figure out why Dino or Dino blocked me. But who's going to end the show with a lovely impersonation?
Leigh, you haven't gone yet. Do you have one?
I don't have one.
I have
queued up.
one on deck. If
Okay,
you want,
I
like,
need.
a week
Yeah,
to
I'll work
prepare.
on one for next week, but no promises as to the
okay.
quality of what it's going to be.
I have one on deck. I think that this is one of my better ones, so I'm gonna take a chance here and see if you guys can guess who I'm going for. Okay.
Let's go.
Threads and water. Do you have any? Eileen, put my hands behind my head like this and end the show.
Yo,
Okay.
I'm scared, yo. What the
I don't
fuck
know
is
what
this?
this is.
What the
I
frick?
feel like I should, but I don't know.
Well, here's the actual line of dialogue.
Oh,
Sugar and water. Do you have any?
Give me a hint, bro.
This is from a movie in the 90s.
Hannibal Lecter.
No, he's like way more like beans and a nice key. He's got the smooth register. This guy.
you got a submission from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
The reason I'm jerking my head is because
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Don told me.
oh yeah.
Who was
Okay,
that
so it's
in Men
nice
in
facing
Black?
him.
Who is that?
I got
It's
it.
the roach in the
Like,
Edgar
when
suit.
he's like,
and he's like,
cringing. Yeah,
Oh my
What
god.
do you mean?
that is a throwback. Wow.
Sugar and water. Do you have any?
Yo, I thought you was Mankind, but you already look like Mankind, so I'm like,
oh, if I did another WWE.
I was like, yeah, this is Mankind, but I'm like, no, that Jesse just looks like Mankind.
Unfortunately, I burned through my Reagan impression today too, so I might be at the bottom of the barrel. Leigh, we really need you
Okay.
one for next week.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I have some on deck too, so I'm excited when it's my turn.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, another great show. Peace, I guess.
Bye.
I